Hello and welcome to the Canine Rehab Movement Podcast, where we discuss all things canine rehab, fitness, and sports medicine for our four-legged companions. We cover a variety of topics with amazing guests in an educational and entertaining format. Some would even call it edutainment. Now, we are all about canine rehab and fitness training, or craft. So join us and hone your craft with the Canine Rehab Movement Podcast. I just wanted to take a hot minute to talk about something that can make a big difference for both you and your furry friends. This episode is brought to you by Multi-Radiance Medical. Multi-Radiance lasers offer the most clinically valid light-based solutions, built with your patients and practice in mind. Multi-Radiance's unique superpulsed laser technology safely delivers the most light to deep tissue and facilitates absorption to accelerate healing and reduce pain in pets. Treat animals in the clinic with the high-power ActiVet Pro series. Then, continue treatments in the comfort and safety of their own home at their schedule with the MyPet Laser 2.0. Visit vet.multiradiance.com today to learn more and schedule a demo for your practice. Welcome back to the Canine Rehab Movement Podcast, where we spotlight the science, the stories, and even the behind the scenes of canine rehabilitation. I'm your host, Anthony Schena, CCAT, and today we're diving into a topic that's close to my heart, and one that's about to become a whole new cornerstone of Northeast Seminar's education platform. Today we're talking about the business of canine rehab, not just the treatments and modalities, but what it really takes to build, manage, and grow a successful rehab facility. And who better to walk us through than the one and only Dr. Deb Torraca, physical therapist, educator, entrepreneur, and the original creator of the Business of Canine Rehab course back in 2013, I think it was, Deb.
Oh boy, long time ago. Feeling old.
No, that was yesterday.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I'm so honored to have you on board here and to be an adjunct instructor with you as well on this, because the field is exploding with opportunity here. But also there's complexity to it, right? So many skilled clinicians have the passion, but not the business kind of blueprint per se. And that's what we're aiming to change with this course here. So let's set the stage. You basically launched this course back in 2013. What prompted it then, and why is it so ahead of its time?
Yeah, and thank you so much, Anthony. And I'm honored to be here with you and to be teaching
Yeah, of
the
course.
new and revised course. And
Very exciting stuff.
Yes, I had started Wizard of Paws, God, way back when, over 20 years ago. And definitely, so many of us started on my own and then started adding, getting busier. And at some point, you start to say, okay, you're bringing on staff, you're doing all of this stuff, and you have to make money. That's just a part of life. I remember a bookkeeper said, if you're not making money, why are you doing this? And I was like,
correct.
Okay, so true. And it really made me think about everything that either I was doing right or doing wrong. And then more and more practices and practitioners started to reach out and say, hey, this is our setup and we're in the red. And I would talk to them and say, okay, what are your costs? Have you looked at your ROI or your return on investment? Just no clue. And we're so good at treating and taking care of animals. We sometimes forget about the that other stuff. Yeah, we have to make money. And it's also okay to make money. Like, yeah, we work with animals and we love them. We have to do that.
Yeah, the love for animals, unfortunately, does not pay the bills, right?
Yes. We both have kids. We know.
Yes.
Like mine are a little bit older, and I'll tell you, the expenses like go up, not down.
They only go up. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So let's fast forward to today. What do you think has changed in the business of rehab and the aspect there?
Yeah, and definitely since 2013, the rehab business is just growing, and there's so many facets of it. And it could be, there's so many options out there that people can look at from, is it a standalone business? Is it in conjunction with a specialty hospital? Is it home visits? And I think the growth in the past 12 years has just been incredible. And which is
absolutely
great for us, great for the animals, great for everyone with all of that.
Yeah, and I think that spread definitely encourages rehab therapists to try and get themselves out there as well. But I think we're unfortunately dealing with the topic of not knowing how to run a business. And therefore, sometimes these rehab centers, unfortunately, close down because they know everything about treating the patient in front of them, but nothing about keeping the lights on sometimes. And I think the biggest thing with this course that we have coming out is we're guiding you through a treatment plan of your business, right? So think of it as a patient, and you have to create a treatment plan to create that success for it. So yeah, it's pretty cool what we've put together. And that's where what I'm segueing to here is that's where the updated course comes in, right? So it's built for this year, 2025, where I think there are just so many rehab therapists now coming out. And whether you're a new rehab therapist or an existing business owner, practice manager, this is something that there is just a tidbit for everybody there. There's a takeaway for everyone, and I'm super excited about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's such a great example of treat it like a patient.
Yeah.
Because even the other day, one of my technicians who's been with me for 10 years, and we were fitting a dog for a brace or measuring to order a brace, and it took a long time. And of course, there was the tech said, "Oh, I feel bad." And said, "This is our time. We're spending a lot of time. We're both on the floor here measuring. We're doing this. And this, if this were done anywhere else but a rehab center, it would cost a lot more." And
oh yeah. Yeah, we're the shy and bashful ones when it comes to it. There's so many other places that will just say, "Yep, here's your bill."
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think people also just, we try to do so many things out of the goodness of our heart and give that customer service above and beyond. But we do tend to forget that time is money. And if you're spending extra time on the one person, you're missing out on another, or I should say patient. So you really have to think about risk versus reward in that sense. But yeah, I think we should really walk the listeners through some of the key modules in this course.
Definitely.
To get into it there. I would want to start with the foundation and benefits of just canine rehab itself and just go from there, Deb.
Yeah. And of course, it's, again, when I look at where I started from and now, of course, we know the benefits of rehab, and it's just, it continues to expand. And rehab is offered not only for post-operative conditions such as your orthopedic, also for conservative, and it just continues to grow. And I tell practice owners and that if you're not offering rehab, the clients they're researching on their own. They know that rehab exists, and they're going to ask you why you're not offering. And if you're not doing it, then they're going down the street to somewhere else.
1,000%.
Yeah. And we know we have rehab courses out there. There are lectures at every major vet conference and smaller vet conferences on the benefits of physical rehab. And it works in people. That's a given.
Yeah. Research is there. It's evidence-based.
So it just, to look at that, and it just continues to grow. And it adds so much, not only to a practice. We may see someone, I call them one and done, where they're coming in, we're setting them up on a home exercise program because maybe the surgical center couldn't do it. Or we may have someone with us for 3 to 6 months as they're rehabbing based on their goals, whatever they need to do with things.
Yeah, for sure. It's such a good adjunct to just the animal's health in general.
Absolutely.
Sometimes the surgery is necessary. Sometimes the pharmaceutical is necessary for the animal to get pushed forward, but it's not always the definite answer.
Right.
And sometimes walking it out is not always the solution
Right.
either. Just like us, like you were saying before, it truly works. It definitely translates to these animals. And you've seen it more than me. You've been in the business for 20 plus years, like you said, and time after time, you've seen the results.
Right.
It's a testament for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's get into facility design and space plan.
Now, this episode is sponsored by H2O for Fitness, the industry leader for companion animal underwater treadmills. Since 2011, H2O has been offering aquatic therapy with the Oasis product line, enhancing the physical rehabilitation and fitness of small animals worldwide. With innovative design and reliability, Oasis underwater treadmills take hydrotherapy to the next level, ensuring successful outcomes for your pet patients and practice. So go to h2oforfitness.com for more information.
I know from my own personal experience how overwhelming this can be, just figuring out like flows and what can I fit there, what can I do there, how many people can fit in here with their animals, because my facility always invites the pet parent to always come in, so it's like I gotta make sure that we're not tripping over each other. Let me hear some of your thoughts on that.
And I've been there, done that kind of thing. I had set up a facility within a large vet hospital, and good and bad. They threw me basically an office initially and save yourself. I was like, okay, and that's a common story, and then expanded and grew. However, one of the things, we had 27 vets on staff, and most of the referrals were coming from outside. And I said, okay, we need everyone to buy into this. And it was a frustrating component of the rehab or at that facility. And then I branched off on my own, and we're going through our 5th expansion right now, which is great.
That's amazing. Oh yeah.
But it's also, as you said, you start to look at, okay, what space? You always need more space. And
always. There's never enough.
From like, you think about those dachshunds to the Newfoundlands. And so like I was after working in a vet hospital, I said, okay, and designing my own facility, I want it not to feel like a vet hospital. And I want openness and all of that. So for us, like half walls serve as many
partitions. Love partitions.
And animals can't see each other, but we can see each other, and it's open. But like you said, figuring in space, privacy, those private rooms, water, things get wet. We had a police dog in for the first time the other day, and the underwater treadmill was part of his visit. And it was like the splash zone was the biggest.
Oh yeah. I call it SeaWorld.
Yeah. Like you have to factor that in, and things are going to get wet. And from adding, each time we add something different, we want it to have its kind of separate space. And
absolutely.
But
it sounds simple. You could say, oh yeah, treadmill goes here, treatment there. Then you think about the flooring, how you're going to clean it. Different areas need different cleaning solutions and the way you clean things. So just those downtime tasks too, when you're not seeing a patient, how much is that going to run you? But I think too, in this course, what we try to put forward is function first though. Aesthetics are great. We all want to look great, but you got to be functional. right? If you're not functional, then your aesthetics is just going to break you down.
Absolutely.
And then we also go over zoning permits,
Yep.
certain compliance issues that every town or state might have in the ordinance.
Yeah.
And from there, it's just those hidden hurdles. Everybody's got their own little battle that they're just going to have to deal with,
Yeah.
whether they're an add-on mobile or their own standalone brick and mortar.
Yeah.
I know then we dive into modalities, equipment, and fee structures.
Yeah.
That's always a hot topic. Fee structures.
Yeah.
Nobody really likes to
price
tag their worth. They want to be affordable.
Yes.
But then they don't really think about the repercussions. And so talk to us about that balance between that passion and profitability, right?
Yeah. And I think that, as you said, is such a big deal. And I remember one of the tidbits that you'll get in this program is something that someone, I think, again, it was the bookkeeper, said every time you give away a discount or a free treatment, document that. And at the end of the year, look how much you gave away. And, often that is anything from a mortgage payment to a vacation or maybe even more. And a lot of people don't know what it costs to keep the lights on per hour or what it costs them to get where they are, their experience. And I feel like rehab too, especially after surgery or a big procedure, owners are more likely to ask for that discount. They ask us, they ask the surgeon, they don't ask the hospital, but they ask us. And it definitely puts us in a tough position. And even though I'm the practice owner, I've removed myself from that with a great office manager.
Yes.
Which works.
Take note of that, people. Take note of that.
We're not the heavy kind of there.
Yeah.
Really factoring in what you need to not only, of course, break even, but then make a profit and keep it going, and factoring in things like people are going to cancel, and it's okay to have a cancellation policy. It's okay to have a no-show policy. I had said to one client, like hairdressers have a no-show. They book you, they book you for this. So why would we not be any different with that? But you have to make money, and you should make money at this and be able to survive and pay your staff and all of that.
Yeah. No, for sure. To keep the listeners related to being a practitioner and then being a practice manager or a business owner, when it comes to the patient, you treat with intent, right? Same thing comes with your fees, right? You got to price with a purpose. You have to know where that's going to get you.
Absolutely.
Right? Getting you nowhere, then we have to talk about that. But at the end of the day, you just have to price with purpose, and you can't be afraid of it.
Right.
And you might not be in the affordable category, but you're also offering a specialty service.
Absolutely.
Take into account. And yes, it's tough. And some people can't financially do it. And every business owner can make their own decision on what they're going to give away and what they're not. Like you said, you have to look at your end of the year and what, did you give away a car like Oprah or?
No, you're absolutely right.
And nowadays too, there's businesses starting to add credit card fees because businesses are losing tens of thousands of dollars just there.
Absolutely.
Just there alone. And that is a very on the line thought process that business owners they're like, oh, I can't do the credit card fee. But you're providing that convenience.
Right.
You're providing the convenience of them being able to use their credit card.
And absolutely. And that was something which we'll talk about, because a few years ago, especially during COVID, it really hit with, wait a second, this is what we're paying. And the fees are going up and just incredible, and saying, wait a second here. I have no problem going to the bank every day and making a check deposit, but those credit fees, it is. We have to factor that in, and
they can be pretty hefty. It's crazy. I remember my first year in business and I was just like, oh, okay.
Again, that end of year thing is, we're not getting the points from this.
Especially, yeah, exactly. Especially your bookkeeper or accountants. Yeah. So this is where your losses are. And you're like, oh no.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most common question that I hear from people is, what do I charge? And you could always offer a discount, but you can't. It's much more difficult to raise a price once you start.
It's true. It's true. And, that we get into that a little bit too in the course too, where you can start at one point, whatever price tag you think, but you're going to see eventually too that it's either the right price tag or the wrong price tag. And now you have to make that correction.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you do it within a month, within 3 months, within 6 months, it's always going to be hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Without a doubt.
There's always going to be pushback.
Yep.
So the timing doesn't matter. Obviously, it matters on how much time you give your clients that notification, but how to time it out. You could do it a year, you could do it in a month.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. They will give you pushback. Absolutely. And they're going to ask for OG discounts and things like that. And that's up to you whether you say yes or no. But the thing is, your business has to survive, right? Because if it doesn't, you're not even going to be treating patients anyway.
Absolutely.
So the mindset there. But moving forward with the course and how I love that we also include like the marketing and the social media aspect of things.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying today's episode of the Canine Rehab Movement. I just wanted to take a hot minute to talk about something that can make a big difference for both you and your furry friends. This episode is brought to you by Zomedica. And at Zomedica, they are committed to meeting the needs of clinical veterinarians and rehabbers in the ways that promote both patient and practice health. Their mission is to advance the effectiveness of veterinary practitioners and rehabbers by offering innovative, unrivaled products and services. Now, as someone deeply involved in canine rehab, I know how important it is to have reliable partners. That's why Zomedica's dedication to innovation and quality is so valuable to our community. Check them out to see how they can help enhance your practice and improve patient care. So thank you to Zomedica for supporting our mission to keep our furry friends healthy and active. Okay, now let's dive back into our discussion.
Because a lot of practitioners that I know say, oh yeah, I have an Instagram page, but I don't really use it. Or yeah, I just upload a picture and this and that. And my marketing ROI for sure is not the greatest of percentages, but it does give you a little bit of value to clients when they are Googling you, because you're going to show up, they're going to watch these videos. There's merit there on how you treat animals, what you're doing with the animals, things like that. So it's really cool that we dive into that as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I know some people will be afraid of social media, but the day and age that we live in, it is a must. And that it also helps so much. When owners say, can I share this? I'm like, tag us, definitely.
Yeah.
And
it's helping create that awareness that there's a huge lack of.
Yeah.
You can walk down a sidewalk and be like, hey, do you know animals have physical therapy? Hey, and most of the time it's going to be no, like almost all the time.
No, it's definitely. And I think I laugh that my 22-year-old daughter often is helping with terms and all of that, but it's just necessary. It's
absolutely. It also just helps to create and communicate your unique presence, right? Like what you have to offer.
Right.
Unfortunately, too, in business, we do have competitors. So if you are within the realm or radius of a competitor, you have to show what makes you different.
Yeah.
Why come to you instead of them?
Yeah. No.
Kind of thing. So
absolutely.
Every little bit counts, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, most definitely.
Another one of my favorite parts that I know we're both going through too is staffing and building your team.
Yeah.
When I say favorite, not so favorite.
I hear you. We were just talking about this, and finding not only the qualified person, but I chuckle to myself because we had someone come in yesterday that was spending time with one of my certified vet techs, and she's a groomer and she wants to get into something else, and she was just figuring out where, and she said, I love the animals, but I hate people. I'm like, that
I
is,
know.
you have to be able to communicate with owners. And
Yeah.
that's such a big component. We think about this. Yeah, this focuses on the animal, but the animal in relation to the owner and all of that. And it's tough tough to find not only a qualified individuals, but those that want to work.
Oh, yeah. And that's just the start of it, the hiring, right?
Yeah.
But then the onboard, the training,
Yeah.
and then hopefully retaining.
Absolutely.
The retaining is the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah.
The other ones are just that step through process.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get past the training and then you don't retain, and you've just exhausted time,
Yeah.
money, whether it was on your side or theirs. You didn't see something where you knew they weren't going to be a good fit,
Yeah.
or eventually they found something else, unfortunately, that gave them a greater value, not just in pay, but sometimes in atmosphere.
Yeah.
People will take a lesser pay for a better atmosphere any day of the week, because at the end of the day, you want to show up to a place that you like. Money is never going to make you like it.
No.
Yes, we need to pay our bills with the money, but if you keep just throwing raises at them and they hate the place, they're still going to quit. They're still going to move on.
So true.
A culture and an atmosphere, you got to think that way for the retention more than any kind of, let me just throw money at them so they'll stay.
Right.
And that's huge. And that's kind of things that we go over way beyond just a paycheck and payroll.
No, absolutely.
Retention. Yeah.
And I always I tell my staff that we're a team, and
exactly,
definitely looking like this is part of your life. It's not your entire life.
Yeah.
I want you to enjoy it here. And we all have those days where things get tough and we may be down about, I had one on Thursday. I was very upset about a diagnosis with a police dog I work with. And it's hard.
Oh yeah. And it's a good segue too, because that's the kind of something we go over both with clients and with staff is conflict resolution.
Right.
And communication or leadership communication when it comes to staff. And just like you said before, we're a team, right? So you shouldn't even, if you label yourself the boss, you're already in the wrong mindset, right?
Absolutely.
You got to be the leader of your team, not the boss. They're definitely two different definitions.
Yeah.
And one will help you with retention on both client and staff.
Yeah.
And the other will not.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And
I think that's, we're just not trained that in school, whether you're a vet tech, PT, PTA, even OT. That's just not it. School is all about the practice of treating the patient. That's it. And we all come out in a deficit that way, for sure. So this is where I'm very excited that we finally got this through. And it's just going to help so many practice owners, practice managers, even just your rehab therapist, communication with your team and the pet parents of the patient, things like that.
Definitely. And as you said too, the more happy or excited your team is, that's just going to overflow to the owner, the client, the pet. And
totally.
I laugh, like you could tell who loves animals and who doesn't. It's like obvious right off the bat.
Yeah, just their body language. They don't even need to say anything. I've seen it too. It's very interesting, especially when I have potential staff members coming in to observe. Sometimes I'll do even like a working interview because I've gotten to that point where this is where we need to be. I can't just trust a resume and somebody who can answer the questions correctly. I have to see them in action before I really confirm the hiring.
Absolutely.
And you can tell body language. Some people are reserved. Some people are go-getters. And that's just within the work status. But then also too, as the patient comes in, what their body language is.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Some people have the courtesy of saying, may I approach, or be reserved in that aspect, which is polite. But then some people just stand there and don't even really acknowledge the patient right away. And I'm just like, but this is why I joke about it even to the pet parents. I'm all over the animal, and then I'm like, "Oh yes, hi, how are you?"
Yeah, no,
it is about the pet parent, but it's not about the pet parent. You don't want to neglect them, but you're treating the animal and you want the animal who's coming to you for relief, for function, things like that, to feel like they're always welcome.
Yeah.
Always about creating that positive atmosphere in the right way. Obviously, you definitely don't want to ignore the pet parent. They're the ones.
Definitely.
They're the ones investing in you. Give them the time of day too.
Yeah.
But you have to show, just showing that to the pet parent, that you're approaching their animal first and making them feel welcome, is just a splash of value. That
Absolutely.
That's why they came to you.
Absolutely.
That's why they're investing in you. And it's super important to think about those things, for sure.
And that's such a good point too about the working interview, because that's what I do also, because I want to see right off the bat. And we all have those nightmare interviews where it's like, what? This is rehab.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit behind a desk and not get dirty. Like it's gonna happen.
Yeah. I think even when I do the phone interviews, I'm so transparent. I go, listen, I know what you might have seen on social media.
Yeah.
But there's a physicality to canine rehab.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to do that. We get up and down on the floor. We have to transfer patients safely. Oh, what's up?
Says, hey, people, I love canine rehab.
Staying fit, right?
Yeah.
Staying fit.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely true.
But yeah, you have to be able to feel these people out and let them know that there's a physicality to this that we don't show on the candy Instagram, social media. They get to see all the fun stuff, but we're doing the nitty gritty behind the cleaning, the animal transfers, the safety to it. There's so much more than meets the eye when it comes to social media, obviously.
Yeah.
Having that initial phone call, I think, helps to weed out, and being super transparent on what you do at your practice and whatever physicality you do at your practice, you lay it out there.
Yeah.
And you'll hear it on the phone. Sometimes there's a little hesitation and sometimes there's, oh my God, no, I love that.
Right.
I want to get down with the animals. I can't wait to help and you're just like, okay, so when can you come in? And
no, absolutely.
And then the other times they're like, okay, thank you so much for your information. We'll give you a call back if we want to move forward, blah, blah, blah. So super important. And I love going over that in the course for sure.
Yeah.
But I think we even talked about it before though. But who would you say should register for the course?
Oh my gosh. I think anybody that has an interest in this, in canine rehab, not only practitioners that maybe want to go out and start their business, whether it's mobile, whether it's standalone, whether it's get involved, but also practice owners, managers, whether it's your office manager, it's your team manager. So with so many corporate buyouts currently going on, I think looking at these people that are making the decisions, maybe they just had a practice that has a rehab center. Take this course because it'll help you understand all the ins and outs, because this is not regular veterinarian medicine.
No,
definitely not. Like you cannot do the same thing that you do with that. This is different.
Yeah.
And if you want to be profitable and successful, and we're talking so much about profit, and yes, money is important. It's not everything.
Yes.
We also want, of course, like first and foremost, offer the best care and
absolutely
that. How can you have the two together? So crucial.
Yeah, totally. And I think this we made an elective course. So it is technically open for most people that are interested in rehab, whether you are a prospective student, an alumni, even decades into being a business owner. Times have changed.
Yeah.
So there's always something new to learn.
Yeah.
And I do think that this course could be for anyone, like you said, that is totally into canine rehab.
Yeah.
Even if you're thinking about being an assistant, having that knowledge and approaching a business owner that you can help them not just with the medical side, but maybe even the back end aspect of it,
absolutely
would make your worth even that much more too.
Yeah.
I know I would love that.
Yeah. No, I definitely.
That's a diamond in the rough right there.
Yeah. No, it really is. I think we're just not taught all
No.
of this
No.
and
Yeah.
go,
And we're all just thrown into the fire, right?
Yeah.
Because,
here, do it. And
yeah, we're thrown into a fire because we want to be out there. We want to make canine rehab abundant. And sometimes it's not always the case when you're working under a corporate entity or even sometimes an add-on. But there's things for everybody to really learn and sustain and survive no matter what sector you're in this course. And that's what I love about it the most, because it's something that is just so needed
yes,
in this.
absolutely.
And then for people who are interested, they can sign up. They can go right to Northeast Seminars.
Yep.
It's NCSUVETCE.com. That's NCSUVETCE.com. And you'll be able to register. We are coming out with the course basically late spring, early summer. It's right on the cusp of launching.
Yeah.
So this is why we are talking about it.
Yeah.
Our anticipation on it is through the roof right now. And
Yeah.
I can't wait for people to sign up, to give us some feedback. There is also a potential of doing some kind of panel discussions with Deb and myself. So stay tuned for that. We're going to figure out the logistics. And Deb, do you have any kind of final words of wisdom for those rehab professionals out there thinking about leveling up their business knowledge?
Yeah, you know what? I would say do it. Not only take this course, but Anthony and I, before we got on, we were talking about kind of the trials and tribulations of canine business and all of that. And I love it. Without a doubt. I learn something new every day. I mean, about the business aspect.
Always learning.
Not only animals and all of that, but it's exciting. And if you're passionate about canine rehab, just take your own control of it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree, man. Don't wait. Obviously, your clinical skills are vital, right? But your business foundation is what's going to make it all sustainable.
Yeah.
Not just being a good practitioner. That helps. Believe me, you want to be that. But there's some back end stuff that treatment plans for a patient just won't cover.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think what we're doing here is putting out a platform where you don't have to figure it out alone. You don't have to step into the fire because somebody else already has. So you don't got to walk through coals. If we can already tell you, it hurts.
I used to always joke, learn from our mistakes. Like we've probably been there, done that. And okay, that wasn't such a good idea. So let us help you do that.
Yeah. And again, these are the foundations. Every business is going to be different. Every business will have its own different growing pains and things like that. And I think that's where we all are still learning. Yeah. Just like you said, you're still learning, I'm still learning. So even the course will eventually be updated from time to time because the business of canine rehab is ever changing.
Yeah.
But yeah, beautifully said, Deb. To all our listeners, thanks so much for tuning in to the Canine Rehab Movement. As always, we're here to bring you the stories, the strategies that help move this industry forward. Until next time, take care, keep listening, and keep moving those paws forward.
You've been listening to the Canine Rehab Movement Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. And for more information about our programs, please visit ncsuvetce.com. That's NCSUVETCE.com. And for those of you who've made it to the end of the podcast, use the discount code NCSU100 and save $100 off of any course, $4.99 or more. Until next time, guys, this is the Canine Rehab Movement Podcast.